Every click leaves a trail. IP Vanish helps you leave a lot less behind. With IP Vanish, your traffic is encrypted, your IP address is shielded, and threat protection helps block malware, phishing sites, and trackers. It's simple, powerful privacy that fits real life. So you can browse with more confidence and less exposure. Join millions who trust IP Vanish. Go to ipvanish.com, that's IPVANISH.com, and choose your plan today. IP Vanish. More privacy, less exposure.
WBSM, New Bedford's news talk station. Listen at home or in the office on your smart speaker. Enable our skill and tell your smart speaker, play WBSM.
Hello, New Bedford. Regain control of your financial future. Tune into the Retirement Factory Saturdays at 6, Sundays at 10, here on 1420 WBSM.
WBSM presents The Ken Pittman Show. Streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Now, Ken Pittman.
What a week of fantastic weather, world events, local events. Pats' first preseason game, Red Sox and their bipolar performance. I do want to start out, though, the mayor of New Bedford, John Mitchell, is refusing to hand over the voter rolls to the Justice Department, questioning the motive. First of all, the states are in charge of their own elections, but that's not to say that they don't have oversight by the federal government. If he's thinking that, then he's ignorant of the law. But I know he's not. He's just being kind of a punk toward Trump, which is fine, but he's going to lose. So this is how it reads. While the U.S. Constitution charges the states with primary responsibility for regulating federal elections. Now, this is where it comes into play. We're talking about sending representatives to Congress, which will happen in, this November. And that means that they will have people representing Massachusetts that will affect all the rest of the 49 states. So the federal government can be involved here. And so it charges the states with primary responsibility for regulating federal elections. It also provides that federal government play a significant role in overseeing such elections. The Supreme Court has held this role includes enacting laws to protect the integrity of federal elections. And that goes back to 1932, Smiley versus Home. And this focus summarizes the federal government's constitutional authority to criminalize conduct that undermines election integrity. Provides a brief overview of the federal government's jurisdiction to prosecute election crimes, and examines a few of the federal criminal laws that prohibit unlawful voting, fraudulent registration and voting, and unlawful voting by aliens. And this focus also offers some considerations for Congress, but the White House would also have authority over this to make sure the voting integrity is intact. I don't know if it's all about the laws anyway. You remember back, was it 2016? And the Massachusetts state authorities said that there were no laws violated when John Mitchell walked Bill Clinton with a megaphone about 40 feet from a polling station at Buttonwood Park. You're not supposed to be within 150 feet. In fact, I didn't have any skin in that game because it was just a primary. But there were Bernie Sanders people there. There were Hillary Clinton people there, including Bill Clinton. But the Bernie Sanders people, they were kept, their signs and the people holding them were kept back by New Bedford police. They had to maintain the election. Bill Clinton walked right up to the polling station with John Mitchell. Enforcement of the 150 rule is the responsibility of the presiding office of the voting location. Well, who do you complain to? You complain to Mayor Mitchell, who walked him right up there. You know, sucking up to the Clintons and the Democratic Party. Because interpretation and enforcement of the law may depend a great deal on the discretion of the presiding officer, the Elections Division is providing this advisory to clarify what does and what does not violate the law relative to campaign activity in and around voting locations. Presiding officers must enforce the 150-foot rule according to the guidance of this advisory and are permitted to use their discretion only on matters not explicitly prohibited or allowed by this advisory. So, again, you had Bernie Sanders people kept back while Bill Clinton grabbed a megaphone and walked right up to the polling station with the city's mayor, John Mitchell, who was starstruck. You could see it. I mean, I still have photographs. So it's really not about law. It's about making sure your party, by hook or by crook, gets the votes they want to get. Now, why would the federal authorities want to look at the New Bedford voter rolls? Well, there's been a history here, right? Maria Tomasia, when she was the elections commissioner, she didn't even turn in a single Republican vote during the attorney general's race. Saying, well, you weren't going to win anyway, to the candidate. I forget his name. He's from Worcester. It was a travesty. You had the ballot issue early in the morning that just went by, but I think I understand that a little more. I'm not sure. I mean, it's terrible timing. It's unforgivable as far as it's the one day. I get all that, but I don't think there was any malice there. Anyway, Mitchell here. The voter rolls. So it's public information to go in and find out who's a registered voter in New Bedford. But I wonder if they're going back. They want to look at some of the prior elections to see if there were any illegal votes, because they've been doing that around the country. Numerous states have turned their voter rolls in. If this was a local election, it would be none of the federal government's business. This is a federal election year. They have every right to take a look and make sure that there's the voter integrity and the laws are intact. And John Mitchell's being a left nut on this one. There's a story that I think the U.S. aircraft carrier has been out there for over 230 days. The Abraham Lincoln, I think it is. That the men and women on the boat are suicidal. I mean, the left has gone nuts. You have people in elected office. You have major media players reporting on this. It's hogwash. They're going to look like complete idiots very soon. But they're just so ready to. I mean, the way they're reporting, the things they're reporting, it's madness. How about Kamala Harris? She's all in. Oh, we're going communist? Yeah, let's do it. This is somebody you wanted for president, a lot of you. Giggles is a commie. 508-996-0500. Watched a little bit of the Pats game Thursday night and some other NFL games. I'm excited about a few of the rookies we have, the depth we have. I think this is a much better team on paper. We can get into that a little bit later. The Sox are on kind of a slide here. I think they've lost 5 of the last 6 after a near historic run. This bipolar performance by the Red Sox, I think that the hot streak they were on was the anomaly. I don't believe this is a great team. They can play great for periods of time. I'm telling you, I don't want to get too excited about them because I don't see it. I don't see the roster. Anyway, 508-996-0500. You are listening to Ken Pittman. We have an incredible streak of great weather. If you're an outdoor person, you're a beach person, could use some rain. But, man, it has been really, for tourism purposes and people coming to the area, what a great, great summer it has been. The crime rate, violent crime across the country has plummeted in record percentages. Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to take credit for that out in California. He's been the governor for quite a while. The common denominator would be, of course, the federal government. And maybe the idea that 56,000 estimated, it's probably a lot more, violent criminals have been netted by ICE, which is enough, as I told you, that's a little bit more than 3 per every single town in America. So of the 400,000 that were netted, even the Democrats are acknowledging 14% of violent criminals. That comes out to 56,000. So I'll use their numbers. I know it's higher than that, and there's a different number, but I'm going to give you that one because it's just hard to argue that you really would prefer this didn't happen and that 3 violent criminals were in each and every town in America right now that have been removed. You sound like an idiot if you're about to tell me that. But it is liberal New Bedford. We could get some takers. I wanted your opinions also on so we had 2 debates. We had the Republican and the Democratic debate for the Bristol 9th seat in the House of Representatives up in Beacon Hill. Chester Tam versus Henry Bousquet. And Ed, I'm going to do it, huh? Ed Camara versus Steve Medeiros. I don't know what's wrong with me. I used to have of course, Ed Pacheco. Can I do it again? We had we had the debates on August 8th. The Democratic debate took place. I hope you were able to listen to that. And then 2 weeks prior to that, we had the Republican. So we have an idea of where they sit. And if you noticed I'm a Republican. And I hope I did this in complete neutrality. I didn't question or challenge any positions of any of the candidates. I asked questions that I thought were important to their parties and relevant to what their agenda would be without challenging. It'd be selfish of me to interject myself in a debate like that. So I didn't. I think I got a couple of conservatives a little frustrated that why didn't you question him on this? Come on. It's a debate between Democratic Party nominees or the Republican nominees, and it's their time. I offered it to them. So it'd be unfair for me to do anything like that. But I think we got a good idea of where they stand. And I hope you were able to listen to it. 508-996-0500. Donald Trump went to New York yesterday and, well, I mean, not in perfect fashion, obviously. I never like the way he presents things, but I was touting the crime rate, the crime rate drop across the country. I mean, the press was so happy. This is kind of funny because Bill Clinton really didn't do much in terms of law enforcement to explain the drop in violent crimes that he was able to boast about when it was time. But really, and this is, I know I'm going to go in the opposite direction of the national trend, and I pointed out why the trend is down, because ICE went around and grabbed 56,000 violent criminals. But Rudy Giuliani cleaned up New York City so much that it affected the national crime rate in a favorable way. So Bill Clinton was able to tout that, and the press was very happy to walk that around and carry that torch for him. I don't know that they're going to do that for Trump. I mean, the records are unbelievably impressive. If you go from 24 to 25 in particular, it just plummeted. And 25 to 26, some of the indicators are coming in. But he can demonstrate the reason that the crime is dropping. Gavin Newsom is trying to say Trump is ducking from the fact that California's violent crime rate is down. He's kind of an idiot. I really didn't think he was this nutty. I knew he was ineffective and wishy-washy, but he's a lunatic. And he's jumping on. He's trying to be the token Caucasian communist here in all this, because most white liberals are so fearful of being moderate that they don't speak out and all this stuff. And we're seeing. Look at Gavin Newsom was supposed to be a moderate. He's all in with these communists. Al Sayed, AOC, Ilhan Omar. It is ridiculous, and they're no longer hiding it. McCarthy was right, not Chris. Chris is always right too, but McCarthy, back in the 60s, talking about the effort to turn this country communist through academia, through the colleges and the public education. I'm sorry, but he was right the whole time. Heavy-handed? Yeah. Right? Yep. Money has been flowing into this country. Look, Charlie Kirk can't even go on a college campus without getting shot, bringing a conservative viewpoint. And what they've done is they've cut, sliced, edited his speeches, his statements to make it look like he's a racist, like he's homophobic, like he's a hater. And the remarkable thing about that was people who didn't know Charlie Kirk went out to the social media and watched the whole thing. And a lot of them were saying, wow, that's not what I saw. I was shown just parts of that where it shows that he's this hateful jerk. And now that I'm watching the whole thing, I can understand the way he was asking things might not have been perfect, but he was actually trying to make a point that was good. But the professors across this country, the hateful radical Marxists who are recklessly put our children's minds in their hands and young adults, they've ginned up a Marxist youth that couldn't stand his presence on a campus, and he was shot in the head in front of his family and in front of millions. The party has not done a thing about anti-Semitism. It's gotten worse. Universities, Harvard University, disgraceful. Not getting punished. They're not going to punish themselves. I mean, look, Massachusetts and academia, colleges, Harvard, the UMass public system, they're one and the same. You'll notice almost every retired Democrat who leaves office goes right to the schools to teach and get a salary. From Billy Bulger, Marty Meehan, on and on. They're not going to punish themselves. Like Massachusetts didn't punish or find any wrongdoing when John Mitchell and Bill Clinton broke the election laws. You're not going to see. They're not going to punish themselves. The law's in writing. The video's there. It is not even in question they broke the laws. And the Massachusetts Secretary of State's office, and no, we don't think they broke any laws. You're never going to see it. No kings. There's a king on William Street. He can do what he wants. Go tell the federal government, go screw yourself. I don't care if you have authority over the integrity laws. You're not getting these votes. You don't get to see anything. He's going to lose. If they want it, they'll get it. Which is what I want them to do. I want them to just take it from him. And I wonder if the federal government has to validate votes that they can't verify without the cooperation of local government. Imagine if Mitchell did that. If the federal government would not acknowledge New Bedford voters. I wonder if there's a path for that. Maybe an attorney could tell me. Probably not. I'm just speculating. 508-996-0500. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Ken Pittman Show on AM 1420, WBSM, and 99.5 FM. And you should be listening on your WBSM app if you're driving around. Goes right through your Bluetooth into the stereo. And it's a great way to listen. Don't go away.
Latrell spent more than 8 years in foster care. His world changed when he was adopted at 15 with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
I think about how much we love him, and I wish we could have had him for his entire childhood.
The foundation is changing the lives of thousands of teens waiting in foster care. You can help. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Click this link now to review my bank transfer. I didn't make a bank transfer. Ugh, another phishing message. Are you frustrated by these too? So much of our lives are online today. To make sure my information is protected, I checked out CISA's Secure Our World resources. They've got 4 simple ways we can stay safe online. First, learn to recognize and report phishing. Next, create a strong, unique password for each online account, and use a password manager if you can. Then turn on multi-factor authentication for extra security, and you'll receive a code when logging in. And finally, turn on automatic software updates for convenience and safety. Click here to track my delivery. Another phishing message. But now I know how to protect myself from scammers, and you can learn too. Go to CISA at cisa.gov/secure our world for more quick, easy tips to be safer online.
The Ken Pittman Show, 1420 WBSM, New Bedford.
Democratic Senate candidate in Michigan, Abdul El Sayed. There's a video, a really interesting video He argued racism was the only reason Trump wasn't held accountable the same way the al-Qaeda leader was, comparing him to Osama bin Laden. So Osama bin Laden was persecuted by America because of racism, and Donald Trump has been protected because he's white. This is a guy the Democrats are going to send to the Senate. Well, I mean, they were going to send Graham Plattner until they realized he couldn't win, knowing everything about him, by the way. It's not like they didn't know. They knew. And the guy they're getting... Elizabeth Warren is... It's amazing, her list of candidates that she's endorsing. And it's more amazing to me that around the country, she gets more hubris. I think they think she's more popular than Massachusetts thinks. She's really not well liked here, except for by her base. I mean, she can get enough votes to win, I get it. But I had an argument with a friend of mine who used to live here in Massachusetts. Now he's living out in Nevada. And he thinks Elizabeth Warren is a great U.S. senator. I said, really? Well, what has she done for Massachusetts? And he rightfully pointed out, her early on, she had some banking revisions that were good for consumers. I agreed with that. But for Massachusetts, he whiffed. Something Ted Kennedy didn't do. Nobody's really worked for Massachusetts since becoming a U.S. senator, since Ted Kennedy died. Certainly not John Kerry. John Kerry, the laziest guy in the Senate, obviously, quite obviously. And then became the Secretary of State, and his victory lap, and now he's still fighting for global warming causes. But Ed Markey, the former ice cream guy, turned congressman, turned senator. What has he done for Massachusetts? If I got on the roof of this building here above FUM 107 WBSM and I looked around, I could point to something Ted Kennedy has brought to Massachusetts. I can't say that about anybody who's come and gone since as a U.S. senator, whether it be Kerry. I mean, Scott Brown, I think, I could be wrong, but every indicator was that he was ready to do the work for Massachusetts. I mean, for the fishing industry, I saw it myself. He was rolled up his fist, wanted to learn more. How can I help? And again, he did something for the country, the Stock Act, right? I mean, he stopped insider trading for members of Congress, got them to reluctantly pass the bill so they couldn't stuff their pockets any better than the rest of us in the stock market. Then Elizabeth Warren knocks him off that November. By April of the following year, all of the teeth were taken out of that bill, and the insider trading happened for Congress members again. I think 25,000 members of the legislature and their staffers, they didn't have to report anymore. They could do whatever they want. Nobody would know. But this guy, Abdul El said, which is what I started with, he compared Donald Trump's role in the January 6th Capitol to September 11th. And I actually think some people would agree with that. They're nutty enough to agree with that. The BBC cut the video of Donald Trump's speech that day when he said, we're going to go down and we're going to protest peacefully and lawfully. They cut all that up so it didn't look like he said anything like that. And he may be $10 billion richer. There's a $10 billion lawsuit. BBC tried to get it thrown out, and it's going forward so far. The latest attempt to have it knocked off, BBC just took a minor loss in court. But the press and the Democratic Party tried to make it look like Trump didn't say to do things peacefully and lawfully. I would not have advised him to even go to Washington that day. Don't have a rally. It just wasn't good for democracy. I agree with Democrats on that. And he said he would prove it was stolen. That was a dumb statement because you didn't prove it. And if you didn't prove it because the deep state was too powerful, you should have known that was the possibility and not promised anything. But he listened to the wrong people. But he did not call for any violence. And The ridiculous things that were said about him. Oh, why didn't he go in the middle of that riot and have them stop? Number one, you think he could stop it? Number two, you think the Secret Service was going to let him get anywhere near that mess? So he's responsible for the amount of people that went there that day, but he's not responsible for the idiots who did whatever they did. And that should be a neutral observation, because that's the truth. But Al-Sayed said, he said, why aren't we treating Donald Trump like we treat other terrorists? And he explained racism, the double standard. But don't forget, one of his close friends was very happy about 9/11, Hassan Piker, who is really the antithesis of Charlie Kirk. He's an actual hater, actual bad guy. He went on to say that Trump recruited, radicalized, and reassured the rioters in the same way Bin Laden recruited, radicalized, and reassured the 19 hijackers who hijacked the country on 9/11. Al-Sayed also, I guess in his past, he killed thousands of cats and dogs for a living. I'll get into that in a little while, but I don't think he wanted you to know that part about him. The World War II memorial was vandalized. I'll say this. I think she's mentally unstable. I don't know that they're going to convict her of anything, nor do I think they should. She seems very unstable. She filmed it. I think she should be involuntarily brought to an asylum, though. I may surprise people here, though, but I don't happen to agree with the vaccine rescheduling for our children that Robert F. Kennedy and Donald Trump are calling for. I do believe a lot of the vaccines are safe and necessary. As opposed as I was to the COVID-19 one, I trust some of these have helped our nation avoid outbreaks. I'm not that opposed to traditional medicine, I guess, as some would be. I hope that doesn't disappoint you, but that's my position, and I'm happy to disappoint if that's how you feel. But I trust the science enough where I think some of these have kept us safe. That's how I feel about that. I know that's been a topic this week as well. All right, we're going to come right back. You're listening to Ken Pittman on AM 1420 WBSM.
The Ken Pittman Show, 1420 WBSM, New Bedford.
I'm the thread that's already inside the house. In the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money or your TV. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. I'm patient and quiet. I don't sleep. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Secure all your guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
you up to date on the latest news.
I follow the news pretty much throughout the day.
New Bedford's news talk station, WBSM. This is New Bedford's news talk station, WBSM.
The Ken Pittman Show, 1420 WBSM, New Bedford.
Zoran Mandami, the mayor of New York City, has embraced and espoused the virtues of communism, and I'm just astonished that this guy's in office in the first place. I mean, New York City, Gotham has elected the Joker with his candy giveaways, right? I mean, children, you're giving away candy, you'll walk right up to the van. This rent freeze is becoming a real disaster and fast. So what he's done is he's got people individually in certain buildings. If they are not showing on paper that they're making enough money, their rents, their rates are frozen. They're not going to get increased. But the landlords have to pay the bills. They have to pay the mortgage. They have to maintain the buildings. They're not going to lose money. So they're going up on the rent for those other folks in the building. So the neighbors are subsidizing the rent. It's angering a lot of people. The free bus fare, now the city's losing millions in bus fares, and so the revenues are going down there. He's making a mess out of New York, which I promised you that honeymoon was going to be over, and it's not even 9 months, and it's over. He is like there's people that are trying to get signatures for recalls. I don't know how it works, but they want him out. It's not. I'm just telling you, it's on the radar. It's a blip. But the sentiment is going to grow quickly, as I told you it would. This socialism, this push, it's never worked anywhere. And please, if you're going to call, don't be a parrot just saying, well, look at the healthcare in Canada. It's inferior to ours, okay? And the reason Europe and Canada do provide quote unquote universal health care is a lot of it has to do with the Americans subsidizing their health care. And Trump tried to do something about it. Let me bring you back to 2020 when Joe Biden and Trump were going at it for the first time. The CEO of Pfizer said if Trump wins this one, it's going to be a disaster. Yeah, okay, so what he wanted to do is he wanted Americans to pay the same price for the same medicines as Canadians and Europeans. Do you know, when you get a prescription medicine, you're paying 229% more than the Canadian with the same problem and the same medicine. Maybe that explains a little bit about how they're able to subsidize more of the health care. In Europe, the same medicine, you're paying 200 to 400% more than they pay. Think about that. Trump tried to stop it, and the pharmaceuticals jumped right onto the Biden bandwagon because they like the money that America's giving them. So I'll say it again. It's never worked. Socialism, communism has never worked anywhere. Anywhere. I saw a ridiculous social media post. If you don't like a fire truck in your city ready to put out fires, you must hate socialism. It's a crazy idea. Of course, there's sensible things we want to invest in. Police, fire, national defense, libraries, the post office. I mean, there are a number of things that nobody's going to object to. It's God. That you have to say it out loud is just funny. (508-996-0500). Yeah, the New York agenda in the corner office is being exposed for the hot mess we told you it was going to be. But in a democracy, you get the government you deserve. And Kathy Hochul is every bit as much to the left as Mamdani, and that's becoming clear. That's becoming evident. She got in office when the last governor, Cuomo, was deemed to be a perv. Stuffing COVID patients in nursing homes and leaving COVID hospitals empty. Never had to really answer for that because they don't punish each other. They're not going to punish each other. No consequences. But he became a creeper in the eyes of too many women, so they had to get rid of him. They dumped him. You know, real quick, the New England Patriots, I watched Thursday night. I like the backup quarterback situation in the event something, God forbid, happens to our new stud, Drake May. DeVito's pretty competent as a backup. I think he's probably better than more than half of the backups in the league right now. But looking around, I still see some problems with the team. I think the linebacking and defensive pass rush are the only two things left to address on this team. And then I think we can expect to be contender every year. I don't know how it's going to look this year. I did not think they were going to go 14-3 last year. I didn't come close in my prediction. But I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to lose a lot of close games, win some games against teams people don't think they're going to beat. It's going to be an interesting year because I don't know how it's going to play out with the record. I imagine they'll fall between 10 and 11 wins. And they could surprise me either way, and I wouldn't be shocked. The league has some parity right now. There's some really good teams out there, and a number of them. But that's going to be fun watching the NFL. For me, anyway. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Ken.
Good morning.
Ken, you're talking about hogwash. You open up the program with hogwash about the USS Lincoln.
Yeah.
You know what's hogwash?
What's that?
The war will be over in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Vandals.
That's true.
Destroyed my reflecting pool. Gas will be down by Labor Day. I won the 2020 election. Conditions are fine. You know what? You're only one-sided. You never talk about all the other BS.
What are you talking about? I've criticized
all
Trump.
Democratic socialists are communists. That's another one. What is that? The new talking point?
No, they absolutely are. They just don't. Some of them just aren't ready to admit it.
Oh yeah, really? You know what it is? It's like unions. Are unions communist?
No, but I think that they could be led to that. Yeah.
Oh, you are so. It was.
No, listen. I was a union member. I was a laborer. I sat on those lunch boxes having conversations. Those high skilled carpenters, the guys who do the spackling, all that. They're not liberals. They're not. I mean, but the SEIU, who have the real numbers in the unions, absolutely communists.
You know what this movement is of socialists? It's a reaction to unfettered capitalism by the likes of the elites like Trump that are running the government. And people go, you know what? Screw them. We're going to go as far left as you guys go as far right. That's the whole story.
I agree with you. No, I think the pendulum swings. When you have an Obama, you get a Trump. When you get a Trump, you get the DSA. I do. I agree. Right. But I think the corruption isn't nearly as bad as it's being reported. I don't see it. Elon Musk is now like the devil for so many. These nameless, faceless billionaires, with the exception of Elon Musk, nobody ever points to George Soros not paying enough. It's always Elon Musk.
The latest of Trump charging for Truth Social post.
What's that?
Trump wants to charge for early, you can get his Truth Social posts before they go public. You've heard about that one. What about the emolument clause? What about the $2 billion? That he's made on these phony bank coins.
Nobody has to pay that.
Call this stuff out.
Nobody has to pay for it. If you don't want to,
he came out this week. There's going to be a special Truth Social that you can join up. Another one of his like Trump, Trump University. No, he's doing it.
No. You can. You're not compelled. You don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
Right.
But you don't think that's illegal?
It's a free market.
The President of the United States making money off his office? Are you kidding me?
Ethically, I wouldn't advise. I don't think it's illegal.
It may not be, but totally unethics. I don't know about you, but I judge people by character and ethics, and this man has zero.
Well, how many times did you call talk radio and speak about Barack Obama's book deal?
What deal?
His book deal.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't say anything about that. Do you think that was ethical?
I didn't have any problem with it.
You didn't. So you don't have a problem with President Obama giving a contract of $260 million to a publishing company, and then he gets out of office. They change the name of the publishing company, and then they give him a $65 million book deal. You didn't have a problem with that?
No, I didn't have trouble. I didn't have trouble with the book.
Interesting.
No.
I believe you.
But I have trouble with you just being one way. Like hogwash. How do you know? Do you have any family members aboard the USS Lincoln?
I'm gonna go with the command center that's saying
you're gonna go with numbskull Pete Hesketh?
Numbskull?
This guy denies everything.
Wait a second. You're calling him a numbskull?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
he's like.
Do you know how many sorties? Do you know how many missions that we've been on? How long we've been at war, and a total of less than 25 deaths? Joe Biden and who's the last guy that was the Secretary of Defense? I'm trying to remember his name. He prioritized trans people and elevated their ranks because they were trans. He also led a panicked attack. He led a panicked evacuation of the Afghanistan airport that caused the death of 13 Marines, and we watched hundreds of Afghanis try to get on the planes, dozens falling off the wheels and wings. That's the brilliance you're looking for?
He also wants anybody over 30 to have testosterone shocks.
If their testosterone counts down. I don't agree with that either, but, there are now very common practices of testosterone boost for those who are lacking.
And it's not that healthy either for you.
That's debatable. Under medical care, testosterone can be beneficial for those who have low counts. You're wrong.
But you seem to be selective. You're not as bad as some of the guys on this radio station, but I mean, you do have selective memory when it comes to certain things.
No, were you listening long enough to say that Trump was wrong for showing up in Washington in the first place on January 6th? That Trump was wrong for promising that he was going to prove the 20 elections were. So I did say those things. I also said that Trump is wrong for saying he has a deal and that the war is coming to an end. He should shut up about it. I say it all the time. So you don't listen enough, I think.
Well, I can tell you that I thought he obliterated the nukes.
He definitely decimated quite a bit of them.
Well, then why do we go to war?
What do you mean? Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Joe Biden, they all promised that if Iran pushed for a nuclear weapons program, they would bomb them, they would take it out. They all promised that. Now, they just admitted they enriched to 60%, well beyond the 3.67% that they promised they would stay to, right? They got to 60%. They said they had enough for 11 nuclear bombs. Trump did the right thing.
What's the over-under line, in your opinion, on how long you think this war is going to go on for?
I think it has to do with what takes place. I think they did the wrong thing by not preparing Iranians outside of the country to go in and start taking over, start arming people to commit to a revolution. This regime can't stand unless we want more of the same. So to be honest with you, it depends on how committed we are to ending this regime. I don't think it's going to be over before the midterm elections. I think it's going to go well into the end of Trump's term, as a matter of fact.
You never know what you get. They got 100 million people in Iran. I don't know what you're going to get if that regime changes.
It's twice the size of Texas. You're right. There's 93 million Iranians. Most of them don't want this regime anymore. Most of them, they murdered 50,000 of their own people. They're still executing people on a regular basis.
Right.
This regime does not belong in the 21st century.
No, it's a tough situation, but, like I said, the hogwash. There's hogwash, believe me, on both ends.
No, I think you pointed out some valid things. I really do, and I appreciate your call.
Okay, talk to you later.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
That guy was 100% right, Ken.
Okay.
You're very selective. You're very selective.
Well, you demonstrated. I just pointed out what I've been criticizing Trump.
Do you talk about what he's doing to the White House, putting 24-karat gold all over the place?
Well, do you have a problem with Beacon Hill's 24-karat gold dome?
This is what I'm talking about. Tit for tat. Every time.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, you brought it up. Have you ever criticized the dome on Beacon Hill? Have you ever once criticized the dome on Beacon Hill?
The dome on Beacon Hill?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, the dome.
It's very expensive to maintain that. Have you ever complained about that?
No, I haven't.
But you're going to complain about federal statues having some gold-plated,
no, I'm not talking about federal statues.
Gold flakes in the paint?
The White House in general, he's turning into the Buddha of India. Thailand.
The Taj Mahal?
Taj Mahal. He's got gold everywhere. It's crazy. The guy is crazy.
He's gaudy, right? Like I don't.
That too.
Yeah, I don't. So did you see some of the comparisons of the statues and monuments in Washington when Biden was president and when Trump was president, as he's cleaned it up?
Man.
Well, hold on. You got Hamas graffiti on these same statues. Now you got to clean up a bit. Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, goodbye.
All right, I got to go to the news. Thanks for calling.
WBSM and W258DR, New Bedford, a Town Square media station.